Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I am Deepika, and coming up in the next 1 hour. US President-elect Donald Trump's transition team plans immediate WHO withdrawal, citing public health experts concerned about the potential impact. Powerful blast rocks Turkey, claims 12 lives, rips through an explosives plant in northwest region. Indian government launches key initiatives on National Consumer Day in New Delhi. Theme is virtual hearings and digital access to consumer justice. India condoles the passing away of legendary filmmaker Shyam Benegal. President, Prime Minister and Film Fraternity of India pay tribute. Last rites to be held in Mumbai. Good afternoon to all our viewers. You're watching DD India News Hour, and now it's time to begin with the latest and big news of the day. Now, the United States, where President-elect Donald Trump is planning to pull Washington out of the World Health Organization on day one of his second administration. It is also one of many things that he promises to execute on the 20th of January. Though this would not be the first time that Donald Trump has tried to lead a US exit from the World Health Organization. Back in the year 2020, Trump began the process of leaving the organization amid the spread of COVID-19 pandemic. At that time, he accused World Health Organization, or the WHO, of being controlled by Beijing and criticized its handling of the COVID-19. He sent a 4-page letter to the WHO director, suspending funds and initiating the withdrawal process as well.
And we are by far the largest contributor to WHO, World Health, and they misled us. I don't know. They must have known more than they knew, because they came after what other people knew that weren't even involved. We knew things that they didn't know, and either they didn't know or they didn't tell us, or right now they're literally a pipe organ for China. That's the way I view it.
Well, Trump has nominated several critics of the organization to top public health positions, including Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a vaccine skeptic who is up for the post of Secretary of Health and Human Services that oversees all major U.S. health agencies, including the CDC and the FDA. At a press briefing on the 10th of December, WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said WHO will be giving time and space for the transition to the new government in the United States.
We're ready to work together. And the relationship between WHO and US, the United States, has been actually a good model of partnership and has been partnering for many years. And we believe that that will be the case. And I believe, the US leaders understand that, the US cannot be safe unless the rest of the world is safe.
Now, the incoming President of the United States, Donald Trump, is likely to conduct a foreign policy that is not constrained by diplomacy, as seen by his unexpected threat to seize control of the Panama Canal. Meanwhile, Greenland's elected leader said his country is not for sale, responding to Trump's comments about the ownership and control of the vast Arctic island. Here's more.
Latin American leaders on Monday rallied to Panama's defense after US President-elect Donald Trump threatened to reimpose US control over the Panama Canal, a key global shipping route located in the Central American nation. Speaking to a crowd of supporters in Arizona, US President-elect Donald Trump said he would not let the canal fall into the wrong hands. Trump threatened to reassert the country's control over the Panama Canal, accusing Panama of charging excessive rates to use the Central American passage and drawing a sharp rebuke from Panamanian President Jose Raul Mulino.
Las tarifas no son.
I want to express that every square meter of Panama Canal and its adjacent areas belong to Panama and will continue to belong to Panama. The sovereignty and independence of our country are not negotiable.
Other leaders have also responded to the US President elect's comments, including Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum, who expressed support for Panama's government, while Greenland's elected leaders said the Greenland is not for sale, responding to Trump's comments regarding the ownership and control of the vast Arctic island that has been part of Denmark for over 600 years. Looking at Panama, there are some major points to know about the Panama waterway connecting the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. The 80-kilometer interoceanic waterway is operated by the Panama Canal Authority, an autonomous public entity. Panama's constitution describes the canal as an inalienable heritage of the Panamanian nation that is open to vessels of all nations. The United States is its main user, accounting for 74% of cargo, followed by China with 21%. Washington's establishment of a canal zone, an enclave with its own military bases, police, and justice system gave rise to decades of demands by Panamanians to reunify the country and take control of the waterway. Unlike Egypt's Suez Canal, the Panama Canal operates using fresh water stored in two reservoirs. Crafts can travel between the two oceans in about 8 hours without having to sail all the way around Cape Horn, the southern tip of the Americas. 5% of world maritime trade passes through the canal, which connects more than 1,900 ports in 170 countries. More than 11,200 ships transited the canal in the last fiscal year, carrying 423 million tons of cargo. The Panama Canal's importance extends beyond its economic benefits as it has significant strategic, environmental, and historical implications. Antara Sinha for DD India.
And further, Trump's consistent backing of TikTok has fueled speculation about possible solutions to prevent the app from being banned in the United States. As the future of the Chinese app remains uncertain, Trump says he has a warm spot in his heart for TikTok.
US President-elect Donald Trump's repeated support for TikTok has sparked speculation about potential solutions to prevent the app's impending ban in the United States. Trump credits the wildly popular platform with delivering him a large young user base. He opposes banning TikTok also because he believes it would primarily benefit Instagram and Facebook. Congress overwhelmingly passed legislation in April that would block TikTok unless Beijing-based ByteDance sells its stake by January 19. US lawmakers grew wary in the potential of the Chinese government to influence ByteDance or access the data of TikTok's American users. Even with Trump's decisive election victory, preventing the ban faces significant hurdles. The law enjoyed rare bipartisan support in Washington, making its outright repeal through the vote in Congress politically unlikely. TikTok has appealed to the Supreme Court, arguing the law violates First Amendment rights to free speech. The court is dominated by Trump-aligned conservatives. It will hear the case on January 10th, 9 days before the ban takes effect. Another possibility is that the Department of Justice could determine ByteDance has addressed the law's national security concerns or not. The final option is ByteDance selling to a non-Chinese buyer. As president, Trump could extend the ban deadline by 90 days to facilitate the transaction. This isn't the first attempt to resolve TikTok's US status. In 2020, Trump also threatened a ban unless ByteDance sold its US operations. Bureau Report, DD India.
Now, meanwhile, the outgoing Biden administration announced on Monday that it has launched an investigation into China's semiconductor policies, citing concerns over Beijing's use of extensive anti-competitive and non-market means to disrupt global economies. The probe will focus on foundational semiconductors, critical components used in products like cars and medical devices. The investigation aims at determining whether China's actions are creating barriers for American businesses. The United States, United Kingdom and European Union on Monday criticized Pakistan's military courts for sentencing 25 civilians in connection with attacks on military facilities following the 2023 arrest of former Prime Minister Imran Khan. According to U.S. State Department, Washington is deeply concerned that Pakistani civilians have been sentenced by a military tribunal for their involvement in protests on the 9th of May 2023. The British government's Foreign Office added that trying civilians in military courts lacks transparency, independent scrutiny and undermines the right to a fair trial. The European Union stated the sentences were inconsistent with the obligations that Pakistan has undertaken under the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. The civilians received sentences ranging from 2 to 10 years, raising concerns among Khan's supporters about the growing role of military courts in cases linked to the former leader. The attacks on military installations were carried out by Khan's supporters in protest against his arrest by paramilitary forces. The U.S. military announced on Monday that it carried out an airstrike in Syria, killing 2 Islamic State operatives and injuring another. According to U.S. Central Command, the operatives were transporting a truckload of weapons in Syria's Deir ez-Zor province when the airstrike was conducted. The area was previously controlled by the Syrian government and Russian forces. Israel successfully intercepted a missile launched from Yemen early on Tuesday, marking a significant escalation in the ongoing regional tensions. As per Israeli military, sirens were heard in several areas in central Israel following the launch of a projectile from Yemen. The missile was neutralized before crossing into Israeli territory. Israeli defense officials confirmed that no damage or injuries were reported following the interception. The attack underscores the growing involvement of Yemen in the wider West Asia conflict. Well, for the first time, Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz has publicly acknowledged the assassination of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh in Iran in the month of July. The move might escalate tensions between Tehran and Israel in a region already rocked by Israel's conflict with Hamas and Hezbollah. Warning Houthi, Katz also said that Israeli troops would also decapitate the leadership of Houthi rebels. Until now, Israel had never admitted to killing Haniyeh, but Iran and Hamas had blamed it for the Hamas political leader's death. Now, Haniyeh was killed in a guest house in Tehran on the 31st of July. Israel has also allegedly killed Nasrallah in a Beirut bombing on the 27th of September that was followed by the killing of Haniyeh's successor, Sinwar, on the 16th of October.
These days, when the Houthi terrorist organization is firing missiles at Israel, I want to convey a clear message to them at the beginning of my remarks. We have defeated Hamas. We have won over Hezbollah, we have blinded Iran's defense systems and damaged the production systems, we have toppled the Assad regime in Syria, we have dealt a severe blow to the axis of evil, and we will also deal a severe blow to the Houthi terrorist organization in Yemen, which remains the last to stand and fire at Israel. We will damage its strategic infrastructure and we will behead its leaders, just as we did to Haniyeh, Sinwar, and Nasrallah in Tehran, Gaza and Lebanon. We will do it in Hodeidah and Sana'a. Whoever will raise his hand to Israel, his hand will be severed. The IDF's long arm will harm him and will settle the score.
Meanwhile, in the ongoing hostage talks with Hamas, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stated on Monday that a certain progress had been achieved, but he did not specify how long it would take to see the results. Now, during a speech in Israel's Knesset, Netanyahu said that Israel has made great achievements militarily on several fronts and that military pressure on Hamas had led its leaders to soften their previous demands. In recent days, indirect negotiations between Israel and Hamas mediated by Qatar, Egypt and the United States took place in Doha, rekindling hope of an agreement that has proven elusive.
I want to tell you cautiously that there is a certain progress, and this certain progress is due to three main reasons. There is progress, I don't know how long it will take. We will continue to operate in any way and without a pause until we bring them all back home from the enemy's land. We do not take our eyes off Iran, that is threatening to eliminate us, and we are determined to stop Iran from reaching nuclear weapon as well as other weapons that could threaten our cities.
Time to take a short break, but still to come on DD India News Hour. Francis Macron unveils fourth government in the year so far. And up next, we'll get you the latest update on the ongoing protests in Mozambique. Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Now, at least 12 people were killed and 3 others injured in an explosive at an explosives factory in northwest Turkey. According to local media reports, the blast occurred in Balıkesir province. The governor confirmed that there was no indication of any sort of sabotage. The authorities are further investigating the cause of the incident. Now, Germany is probing possible security lapses after a man drove his car into a Christmas market, killing at least 5 people and casting a renewed spotlight on security and immigration ahead of a snap election. The possible motive of the arrested suspect, a 50-year-old psychiatrist from Saudi Arabia with a history of anti-Islamic rhetoric, remains unknown. The man, identified only as Talib A, had left video messages on his ex-social media account on the day of the attack. The attack occurred 2 months before a snap election in February, where the AfD is polling in second place and is particularly strong in eastern Germany, where Magdeburg is located. A local hospital said it was still treating 72 injured people, of which 15 were in severe condition. Meanwhile, around 3,500 people attended a rally of the anti-migrant AfD on Magdeburg's Cathedral Square late on Monday. Federal Interior Minister Nancy Faeser called for tougher internal security laws to be adopted, including a new act to strengthen police forces as well as the introduction of biometric surveillance, while co-leader Alice Weddle called for change.
So wenig steht die Politik.
Politicians are not standing by those who suffer from the mistakes of our governments. The focus is too much on relativizing the actions of those who despise our society. I will repeat it once more. We want something to finally change in our country and for us to finally be able to live in safety again. We never want to grieve with a mother who has lost her son in such a senseless and brutal way ever again.
Now, Francis Macron unveiled a new government on Monday in the hope that his administration can see off another vote of no confidence from a bitterly divided parliament. Now, country's fourth government since the beginning of the year comprised of former ministers and senior civil servants. Former Interior Minister Gerald Darmanin has been appointed as the Justice Minister. The former Prime Minister Elizabeth Bourne, as a technocrat, returns to the government as the Education Minister, while another former Prime Minister, Manuel Valls, who served under the Socialist Presidential Francois Hollande, has been appointed as the Overseas Minister. Jean-Noel Barrot will remain as the Foreign Secretary, while the right-winger Bruno Retailleau has been reappointed as the Interior Minister. Eric Lombard, a former banker, will head up the Economy Ministry, while Sebastian Lecornu stays on in as the Defence Minister and Rachida Dati as the Culture Minister. One of the government's first tasks, led by Francois, appointed by Emmanuel Macron 10 days ago, would be to draw up a 2025 budget bill and reduce budget deficit, which is expected to reach by 6% GDP by the end of the year, well above the 3% of the GDP of the European Union that requires of member states.
I will do everything I can so that we move from the situation of a country divided, exploded, fragmented, torn apart to a country where we can perhaps come together to solve the country's problems. And I demonstrate it in government, I demonstrate it, I hope, in the way I approach problems.
Island country in Polynesia, Tonga, has elected a new leader on Tuesday, 2 weeks after the previous premier resigned abruptly after a power struggle with the Pacific nation's royal family. Veteran politician Isaac Evaluik was elected as the Prime Minister by secret ballot in the Parliament on Tuesday, securing 16 votes to his opponent Williami Lathu's 8. Eek was first elected to the Parliament in 2010 and served as the Minister of Finance between 2014 and 2017. Mozambique's highest court confirmed the ruling party Frelimo's victory on Monday in a disputed October vote after allegations of rigging triggered weeks of deadly street clashes. Fears are high in the country and abroad that more violence could break out in the southern African nation after the opposition threatened to call an uprising following the decision. The United States called for calm after the Constitutional Court said that the ruling Frelimo Party presidential candidate Daniel Chapo secured 65% of the vote, revising down provisional results from the Electoral Commission that said he got nearly 71%. After the election results were released, Mozambique has been gripped by violent clashes all across. The ruling party, Frelimo's victory, has sparked massive protests by opposition groups who say the vote was rigged. At least 130 people have been killed in clashes with the police, according to the civil society monitoring group Plataforma Decide. Outside the conference center in the capital Maputo, where a senior constitutional council judge announced that Frelimo's Daniel Chapo was the president-elect and the party had retained its majority in the parliament, the streets were deserted amid heavy police presence. However, footage on local broadcaster TV Sucesso Mos showed protesters had taken to the streets in northern city of Nacala Porto within an hour of the announcement and in other areas of the capital. Now, Russia has announced a groundbreaking development in cancer treatment with the creation of an mRNA-based vaccine designed to treat cancer patients. RT correspondent Roman Kosarov has sent us a report on this development.
Thanks to a brand new vaccine being developed in Russia, cancer could soon become an illness of the past, just like polio, tetanus, measles, and many other illnesses as well. Now, the vaccine is being developed here at the Gamaleya National Epidemiology Center, the same place that brought to you the highly effective Sputnik V vaccine against COVID-19.
As we all know, this is a multi-stage process. We began the first stage around the middle of 2022, when we realized that the technology underlying the development of these vaccines held great promise. Why 2022? Because it was only in 2020 that technologies emerged allowing foreign antigens to be introduced into the body.
Tumors dissipate and metastases disappear thanks to the new Russian cancer vaccine, according to preclinical studies. The new drug will be tailored individually to each patient. Artificial intelligence will be key in streamlining the analysis of the actual parameters of a tumor, and the vaccine will then be ready for the patient's use within a week. Alexander Ginsberg is certain that even stage 4 cancer patients will eventually be able to benefit from the new vaccine. Human trials are set to start next September. But Mr. Ginsburg is already confident that another mRNA-based vaccine will be just as successful as Sputnik V, as Moscow's Gamaleya National Center of Epidemiology and Microbiology made quite a few headlines during the COVID-19 pandemic when its highly efficient Sputnik V vaccine was administered to millions of people. The cost of the new vaccine currently stands at around $3,000. That's just for the state to produce it. But according to the Russian Health Ministry's chief oncologist Andrei Koprin, the government will pick up the tab and cancer patients should get the vaccine completely for free. Roman Kosarev, RT, Moscow.
And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Now, engineers have deployed a detection buoy nearly 1,000 kilometers off Thailand's coast, part of a global tsunami warning system developed after the devastating 2004 disaster. These buoys, part of the DART system, float on the surface while monitoring seismic activity and water level changes via sensors on the ocean floor. The system, that includes 74 operational buoys worldwide, aims at saving lives by providing alerts within minutes of detecting a tsunami. El Salvador's Congress has approved a bill that reintroduces metallic mining, overturning a ban imposed back in the year 2017. Activists and local residents are concerned that mining could pollute the Lempa River that supplies water to much of the capital, San Salvador, and surrounding areas. Amid a cholera outbreak in Myanmar's Myawaddy province, Thai authorities have heightened border surveillance to contain the spread. Over 300 people have been infected, with 2 deaths reported. Strict measures, including protective gear distribution and public awareness campaigns, are being enforced. Authorities are intensifying screenings at border checkpoints and monitoring natural crossing points to prevent further transmission. Now, the sports drama film titled The Fire Inside is set to premiere in the United States on Christmas. A film about the struggles of American boxer Clarissa Shields and her coach, it marks the directorial debut of cinematographer Rachel Morrison. Diptanshu Kashyap brings us more.
Kickstarting the final week of 2024, the upcoming sports drama film, The Fire Inside, is ready to hit theatres. This powerful film brings the real-life story of Olympic boxing champion Clarissa T-Rex Shields to the big screen, capturing her journey from humble beginnings to global recognition. Actor Brian Tyree Henry plays Shields' coach, Jason Crutchfield. He emphasized the commitment to truth in their performances.
We're also playing real people. You know, Jason and Clarissa are so authentically who they are. And so we had this wonderful guidebook called T-Rex, which is a documentary that followed the journey to the Olympics with Clarissa and Jason. And because they are so authentically who they are, we had no choice but to be
it was a great blueprint.
Yeah, it had to feel lived in. It had to be truthful.
Ryan Destiny stars as Shields, who rises from a challenging life to fight for Olympic gold. Destiny worked closely with Shields throughout the film.
It's actually incredibly true to life. All of those fights really happened. And, you know, the relationship with the coach and even some of the complicated dynamics with her family, like, it's all very representative of her real experience, her real family.
The film marks the directorial debut of cinematographer Rachel Morrison, who ensures the story stays true to Shields' real-life experiences. She added that all of those fights really happened, and the relationship with the coach, even the complicated dynamics with her family, are all very representative of her real experience. The Fire Inside will premiere in the United States on Christmas, with a UK release yet to be announced. Diptanshu Kashyap's report for DD India.
Time to take a short break, but still to come on DD India News Hour. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar to embark on a 6-day visit to the US. Up next, a detailed discussion on one's right on the occasion of National Consumer Day 2024. And we'll get you the latest update on Sandhya Theatre's stampede case involving actor Allu Arjun.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India News Hour, and now it's time to quickly recap the top headlines of the hour. US President-elect Donald Trump's transition team plans immediate WHO withdrawal, citing public health experts concerned about potential impact. Powerful blast rocks Turkey, claims 12 lives, rips through an explosives plant in northwest region. Indian government launches key initiatives on National Consumer Day in New Delhi. Theme is virtual hearings and digital access to consumer justice. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Shankar will visit the US from the 24th till the 29th of December. Minister Dr. S. Shankar will meet US officials to discuss bilateral, regional and global issues. And during the visit, the minister will also chair a conference of the Consuls General of India in the United States. Moving on, India is, before that we'll get to the visuals of that. Now, India is celebrating National Consumer Day today, a day highlighting the importance of the consumer movement and spreading awareness about consumer rights and their responsibilities. Now, Minister for Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, Prahlad Joshi, shared a video message reaffirming the government's commitment to ensuring consumer rights and highlighting initiatives like the Consumer Protection Act 2019.
Not only focusing on the consumer's protection, but also consumer's prosperity. India currently is the fifth largest economy in the world and the fourth largest consumers market, providing the ample of opportunities for the consumer-based economy. The Consumer Act 2019 marked a transformative milestone in India's consumer protection framework.
So, 24th of December is being observed as National Consumer Day across India. The theme of this year's edition of National Consumer Day is Virtual Hearings and Digital Access to Consumer Justice. We take you through the significance of this day, historical facts, and what are the major initiatives launched this year to protect the rights of the consumers. Take a look at this report. 24th December is observed as National Consumer Day every year across India with an aim to empower, enlighten and understand the changing consumer pattern of the country. Be it online consumers or offline, India boasts a thick share of consumers around the world. Interestingly, it was the Consumer Protection Act in the year 1986 that received the presidential assent and was enacted. The law then came into effect to safeguard the interests and rights of the consumers, ensuring that they are protected against unfair trade practices, fraud and exploitation. In the year 2024, the Consumer Day is being celebrated with the theme Virtual Hearings and Digital Access to Consumer Justice. The theme corresponds with the objectives of the new Consumer Protection Act 2019 that is aimed at providing speedy, cost-effective and hassle-free justice to the consumers. The amended Act highlights the importance of digital medium and tools in ensuring that consumers can access justice in an increasingly online world. And on the occasion, the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution and Minister of New and Renewable Energy launched various key initiatives on the National Consumer Day for the protection of consumer rights. Some of the highlights are signing of safety pledge by major e-commerce platforms, which is a voluntary commitment for ensuring consumer safety. Launch of Jago Grahak Jago app, Jagriti app and Jagriti dashboard to protect consumers from the dark pattern. Launch of e-map portal for all services legal metrology services. Dedication of software testing facility for weighing and measuring instrument. With such initiatives, the government keeps on emphasizing on the consumer rights and the protection of those rights as well. At the same time, it is also important for the consumers to be educated about these rights and practice them in their daily lives. Deepika's report for DD India. And now to discuss more on this, I am joined by Ms. Nidhi Khare, who is the Secretary of Department of Consumers Affairs. Good afternoon, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast. Now, the nation is celebrating National Consumer Day today, and we have come a long way in our consumption patterns. We've also seen a major shift from offline to online mode, and this year's theme also focuses on digital mode. How do you see the emergence of digital dominance and its impact on the consumers?
So because e-commerce platforms are now, they are here to stay. And there are many complaints which we receive from the consumers who are using e-commerce. And therefore, we thought, why not actually make it easy for consumers to not only file their complaints, but also get quick redressal. So on the National Consumer Day, we have launched Jagriti app, Jago Grahak, Jago app, and also Jagriti dashboard. This is basically to make sure that the consumers understand that they should not be victim of dark patterns which are, which are utilized by the e-commerce entities.
And when we talk about the online apps that you've just mentioned, which includes Jago Grahak Jago app and the Jagriti app, which are just few of them. And when we also look at the rate of internet penetration across the country, which is high right now, how can these apps particularly prove to be a game changer when we talk about safe buying?
So the consumer can actually download these apps, run them through the e-commerce, the website where they are making their purchasing decisions, and they can check out whether the e-commerce entity is using any dark pattern or not. If they realize that the entity is using a dark pattern, then they should also report it through the Jagriti app. More and more people, when they actually lodge their complaints, it makes it easier for the Central Consumer Protection Authority to actually take it up as a class action matter. So I can very well assure you that using of dark patterns to force the consumers into taking an uninformed or say a misinformed choice is part of unfair trade practice, and therefore they can be penalized for it.
And also when we talk about the government, which is also focusing on the betterment of the sellers as well, and not just the consumers, and especially with the launch of e-map that aims at enhancing ease of doing business also, how will this benefit the business owner specifically?
So for example, people use weights and measure, and they also you have all kinds of, say, sellers, manufacturers, importers, who are supposed to, give information on the labeling of a packaged commodity which the consumer buys. And in such cases, since now we are going to have a national portal on e-map, it can be very easily found out whether the petrol pump which is delivering you, dispensing you with petrol or diesel or any such thing, whether they have the measures calibrated and verified from time to time or not.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Nidhi Khare, the Secretary of Department of Consumers Affairs, for joining us and bringing a rounded perspective on the occasion of National Consumer Day. Thank you. Moving on, legendary filmmaker and Dada Saheb Phalke Award winner Shyam Benegal passed away at the age of 90. The director took his last breath on Monday in Mumbai. The film fraternity and his close friends mourned the loss of the pioneer of the Indian New Wave movement. Diptanshu Kashyap brings us more in this report.
A pioneer of parallel cinema in India, Shyam Benegal is considered one of the greatest filmmakers since the 1970s. Born on December 14, 1934 in Hyderabad, Benegal began his career in copywriting before transitioning to filmmaking, creating numerous commercials, corporate films and documentaries. A cousin of legendary Hindi actor filmmaker Guru Dutt and an admirer of Bengali director Satyajit Ray, Benegal made his directorial debut with Ankur. The film, which means the seedling, literally sprouted a series of impeccable masterpieces like Nishant, Manthan, Bhumika, Junoon, The Making of Mahatma and Bose, The Forgotten Hero. His final film, Mujib, The Making of a Nation, focused on the founder of Bangladesh, Mujibur Rahman. Benegal also helped launch the careers of many actors. To this day, Manthan remains an evergreen classic with its rich cinematography and stirring song, which is also a fine example of crowd-funded movies. In addition to his film work, Benegal is renowned for his television contributions, with the most notable being Bharat Ek Khoj, an adaptation of Jawaharlal Nehru's The Discovery of India. He also directed Samvidhan, a mini-series about the making of India's constitution. Benegal has received numerous accolades, including National Film Awards and the prestigious Dada Saheb Phalke Award in 2007. His national honours include the Padma Shri in 1976 and Padma Bhushan in 1991. He also served as a faculty member at the Film and Television Institute of India in Pune. His filmmaking legacy continues to inspire future generations of filmmakers, and his films continue to resonate with the society. Diptanshu Kashyap's report for DD India.
And now to get us the latest from Mumbai, I am joined by DD India correspondent Shama. Shama, good afternoon. Tributes are continuously pouring in, and we are also getting the reports that he'll be cremated with full state honours. Please fill us in with the latest detail from there, Shama.
Well, Deepika, we are here at the Shivaji Park crematorium, and the mortal remains have already been taken inside, and as we speak, the mortal remains have been laid to rest, and we can understand that, as you've mentioned, that a lot of people have come here to pay their tributes, and the state honours that we are talking about, the one part of state honours has already been done, and the remaining part where they'll be firing the rounds, that is yet to be done. So we are waiting for that. But as we speak about the tributes, the Joint Secretary Pratil Kumar of Information and Broadcasting, he's already here. We are also speaking about the actors, the filmmakers that he has worked with, that Shyam Benegal has worked with, and one of them is Naseeruddin Shah, and Naseeruddin Shah has been working with Shyam Benegal in many movies, and we can say that Shyam Benegal has polished one of these stars, which is Naseeruddin Shah, Shabana Azmi, Smita Patil, and so on and so forth. So Naseeruddin Shah is here, Ratna Patak Shah is over here, Boman Irani is here, filmmakers Govind Nehlani is also over here. So Divya Datta is here, Gulzar is here. Many people have come and they've given their last goodbyes. They've given the last tributes. They've bid adieu to Shyam Benegal, and as we speak, that the new wave cinema that he brought in India, that era is completely gone now. One era of filmmaking is now gone, but as we also speak about his era, his legacy, that will always stay with us, because he not just made films that gave recognition to him, he made films that gave recognition to India as a whole. And when we're talking about global platform, the prestigious Cannes Film Festival is one of those where the latest in the year 2024, which is the latest in May that had happened, his movie Manthan was featured in the classic section, in the classics remake section, and because of his ailment, because of his illness, he was not able to come to Cannes, but rest of the film's crew and team members, they were there, and the whole of the theatre, they gave a very warm welcome. They gave a very warm reaction to the film. and the film was based on the Amul's the White Revolution over there. So he has been time and again bringing out the topics that are important to the country. And lately we did also get to know that he was going to work with Doordarshan on a topic which is close to Prime Minister's heart as well, which is Lakpati Didi. And it was really on a conceptual stage, and he was really willing to work on that particular project. But yes, it has been stalled now as the legendary filmmaker has passed away. But his legacy really lives on. And when we are talking about the tributes, not just the people who he worked with, but many youngsters, many young filmmakers have already come over here. They've also come over here, and through the X, Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, many people have poured in their tributes, their condolences, and this shows what it means to be knowing Shyam Benegal. And so he has really brought in many movies like Manthan, Bhumika, Ankur, Nishant. All these movies have really given a meaning to Indian cinema.
He's left
but yes,
us with
a void
void.
will be created forever.
Indeed, he's left us with a void because he will be forever remembered the kind of work he's always presented with the type of his storytelling. Thank you so much, Shyama, for joining us and bringing us the latest straight from Mumbai. Well, you're watching DD India News Hour, and now it's time to take a look at other stories making news around the country. Delhi police has sped up the process to identify illegal Bangladeshi immigrants by means of door-to-door verification, scrutiny of documents and interrogations. So far, the police has identified over 1,000 suspected Bangladeshi immigrants residing in the national capital without legal documents. The police started the action after receiving directions from the LG Secretariat. South Indian actor Allu Arjun appeared before the Chikrapalli police in Hyderabad on Tuesday in connection with the Sandhya Theatre stampede incident. The actor's statement has been recorded at the police station. The actor has been given an interim bail for 4 weeks from the court as well. India's Union Minister Rajnath Singh and Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh Yogi Adityanath inaugurated the Atal Yuva Mahakumbh at KD Singh Stadium in Lucknow on Tuesday. Afterwards, the dignitaries also inaugurated the Atal Swasthya Mela to commemorate the birth anniversary of Bharat Ratna and late former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. We are heading for a short break, but still to come on DD India News Hour. Samcon stars will be debuting against India in Boxing Day Test in cricket. BCCI announces India's squad for ICC Under-19 Women's T20 Cricket World Cup 2025. And world gears up to celebrate Christmas 2024.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Now, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi met economists and sectoral experts on Tuesday in a pre-budget discussion at Niti Aayog in New Delhi. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, Niti Aayog Vice Chairman Suman Berry and other members of the policy think tank attended the meeting. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is scheduled to present the budget 2025-26 in the lower house or Lok Sabha of the Indian Parliament on the 1st of February next year. Moving on, the 27-country bloc, that is the European Union, has trade agreements around the world. But there's one country that it just signed with this past weekend. Switzerland, of all the countries, lies at the heart of Europe, but is not a member of the European Union. Lars Holter with Deutsche Welle, and he joins me from Berlin. Well, talking about it, Lars, what can you tell us about this new trade agreement?
Thanks for having me. Well, I got to tell you that I too was surprised that there hadn't been a trade agreement between Switzerland and the EU so far. Switzerland has 4 neighboring countries, that's Germany, France, Austria and Italy, that are all EU members. And then there's a 5th neighbor, tiny Liechtenstein, that is at least part of the single market, the European Economic Area. In fact, a person in Zurich has to travel over 600 kilometers to even get to the next non-EU country, which would be Bosnia-Herzegovina or Britain, depending on what direction you want to take. It is obvious, given the geographic location of Switzerland, that almost all of its trade is with the EU. And for decades, bilateral agreements had been regulating that trade. They had all been focusing on separate business sectors. And since they are now running out, many in Switzerland were in fact anxious to get an all-encompassing trade agreement in place so as to secure the trade partnership for the future.
All right. Thank you so much, Lars, for joining us and bringing us the latest on this new development. The ongoing strike of Starbucks employees in the United States has now expanded to over 300 stores, with over 5,000 staff members set to join it. The Starbucks Workers Union informed that the strike has expanded to over 60 stores across major cities of the United States. The ongoing talks between the Starbucks management and the Workers Union hit a roadblock over wages, staffing and work schedules. Though the management has said that they are ready to continue the negotiations as earlier. The Workers Union claims the management is yet to come up with a serious economic proposal for the employees to end the ongoing impasse. The 5-day-long strike is set to end on Christmas Eve. And now the latest from the world of sports. Now, Cricket Australia said on Tuesday that Australia's Sam Constance will start the 4th test against India at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, but star batter Travis Head faces the risk of absence due to injury. Coach Andrew McDonald confirmed that Constance would make his test debut, becoming the 468th Australian men's test player on the Boxing Day. The 19-year-old is all set to become the youngest debutant since 18-year-old Pat Cummins at Johannesburg in 2011. Meanwhile, Travis Head, who picked up a quad strain in the 3rd test, is not a certain starter, but Coach McDonald is confident that the batter will make the cut. In women's cricket, the Women's Selection Committee announced India's Under-19 squad for the upcoming ICC Under-19 Women's T20 Cricket World Cup 2025 in Malaysia on Tuesday. Now, India's Nikki Prasad will lead the squad, while Sanika Chalke will be the vice captain. There are as many as 4 groups, with each group consisting of 4 teams. India Under-19, who are the defending champions, are placed in Group A alongside hosts Malaysia, West Indies and Sri Lanka. The tournament is set to be played in Malaysia from the 18th till the 2nd of January, till the 2nd of February. India will begin their campaign on the 19th of January against West Indies Under-19 team. Well, Christmas is here and Delhi has turned into a festive wonderland. From bustling markets to the aroma of fresh cakes and joyous celebrations, the city is soaking in the holiday cheer. DD India correspondent Nupur Praveen takes us straight into the heart of the celebrations. Take a look.
Delhi is all pepped up and ready for the Christmas season. Markets are brimming with festive charm. Fairy lights, Christmas trees and jingling bells. They bring a sense of warmth and festive atmosphere.
The kids love Santa caps, Christmas trees and decoration items. Small kids love to buy Christmas trees for school functions as well as home.
Aroma of freshly baked plum cakes and cookies inside the bakeries add another sweet moment to the joyous mood.
The spirit of Christmas is coming together, helping each other, enjoying the presence of, if it is a family or group, and there's a lot of sharing and caring. Without Christmas cake, there is no Christmas, because in the church also, after the program is over, we cut the cake and we dance and things like that.
schools are also getting into the festive mode. A Christian school in Delhi is keeping up with the old traditions. They have displayed the nativity scene, a special exhibition of art objects representing the birth of Jesus Christ. Churches are glowing with the warmth of Christmas. Carols and prayers are bringing people together to celebrate what this season is all about: love and togetherness.
Christmas celebration is, when we look on the Christmas, everywhere is lighted up. You can see the stars everywhere. Especially in India, we have seen the stars, we have seen the lights and everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's a great Christmas in India. You could see the illuminations and the lightnings and everything.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful. And the Christmas scripts and everything. Especially the church is equipped with all the Christmas trees, lights and everything. So it's a beautiful.
This season, actually, the Christmas is the remembrance of the birth of Jesus. And according to me, the worldly or material celebration will be there, but then spiritual also.
And this year, Christmas celebrations got even more merrier. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi joined a Christmas gathering at this church, adding to the festive cheer and sharing in the joy of the season.
The Prime Minister came for this Christmas celebration, and it was the first time Prime Minister come to CBCI for the Christmas celebration.
From the bustling markets to quiet moments of prayer, Delhi is soaking in the spirit of Christmas.
Christmas isn't just a festival, it's a feeling of magic, joy and hope. From these sparkling decorations to these beautiful lights, and Mother Mary watching over all of us. It's the true spirit of the season that reminds us of values like caring, sharing and celebrating with our loved ones. Wish you all a very happy and Merry Christmas. With camera person Alok, this is Nupur Praveen reporting from New Delhi for DD India.
In Japan's Osaka, thousands of people laughed out loud for about 20 minutes at a shrine for an unusual ritual, which is to laugh away the year's bad memories. The Japanese ceremony is a way for participants to wish for good luck in the upcoming year by laughing. And before we go, India's public service broadcaster Prasar Bharati has recently launched Waves, entering the field of OTT. Waves provides a complete infotainment ecosystem to digital media and OTT audiences. If you also want to create content for free, then download Waves today. And that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download it right now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Deepika, and from all of us here in New Delhi, thank you so much for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.